Linda Lenzke, Program Advocate at Outreach LGBTQ Community Center here in Madison, Wisconsin, and moderator of The Road Forward, a virtual workshop series made possible by a grant from the New Harvest Foundation with additional support from the All of Us research program at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. In the spring of 2021, The Road Forward hosted a series of virtual education and skill development programs to address COVID-19's pandemic's impact on our LGBTQ plus community and offer a roadmap for the post-pandemic road forward. The Restoring Our Lives workshop assessed the needs of our marginalized and often underserved LGBTQ plus community regarding homelessness and housing, job loss and reemployment, plus food insecurity, which was followed by a second workshop when we shared the tools and resources for the post-pandemic road forward. Crystal Cox, Outreach Board Secretary and VP at Wealth Management for Wealthshire Advisors in Madison, developed and facilitated the two workshops, PowerPoint presentation, and tools and resources. Outreach would like to thank the New Harvest Foundation, All of Us, and Crystal Cox for making Restoring Our Lives possible. Please view and share the video presentation and tools and resources. This fall, Outreach will launch a series of in-person support groups made possible by a grant from Madison Gas and Electric, featuring our three topic areas: restoring our lives, recovering our mental health, and protecting our health. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Road Forward. This is the second in the series of our Restoring Our Lives workshop. We are recording the workshop today, and we will also be posting Crystal, our presenter's presentation, so that you can download it off the Road Forward website at your convenience. The purpose of today's workshop is to follow up to the assessment workshop that we did in April, where we learned what kinds of needs people had and what kind of resources that they'll be looking for. So we hope we accomplish that today, and I'm very confident that we will. What I'd like to do as our opening is to just talk a little bit about the road forward, give you a little overview of the project, and then of course introduce Crystal. And my role after that will just be to moderate and problem solve if we get into any technical glitches. So first of all, welcome. Either those of you who are going to be viewing this in the future, we appreciate you taking the time to be part of this program. The Road Forward is an outreach LGBTQ plus community center initiative made possible by a grant from the New Harvest Foundation with additional funding by All of Us, the research program, as part of UW Health. It's a series of virtual workshops and skill development programs targeted to our marginalized LGBTQ plus homeless, transgender, gender nonconforming, LGBTQ plus seniors, communities of color, and individuals struggling with behavioral health, substance use, and alcohol. A little bit about our presenters. Outreach partnered with financial advisors, healthcare, mental health, and AODA, alcohol and other drug addiction, human service professionals to develop the workshop programs that will first assess needs, which we did in April, then provide resources and tools to address COVID-19 pandemic's impact on our LGBTQ plus community, and provide a roadmap for a post-pandemic road forward. We're all ready to get moving forward, getting out of our homes and being safe and healthy and finding out what the new normal is. I'm going to actually read the introduction to Crystal because I don't want to miss anything. I feel very grateful that Crystal is here tonight to facilitate and present this workshop. Restoring Our Lives workshop facilitator leader, Crystal Cox, her preferred pronouns are she, her, and hers, is an ally and has served as board secretary on the board of directors of Outreach since 2019. She is also on the board for the Gift of Adoption Fund and participates in other organizations such as Secure Futures, Schools of Hope, and more. Professionally, she has worked as a financial advisor since 2014 and serves as Vice President Wealth Management for WealthSpire Advisors in Madison. She grew up in Sun Prairie and currently lives just outside of town with her spouse and their 2 dogs. So you know she's a good person. So Crystal, take it away.
I actually kicked my spouse and my 2 dogs out of the room for this presentation, but
you'll have to thank them for us.
I will. They'll appreciate that. Thank you, Linda, for that wonderful introduction.
You
bet. I did have like an intro for myself all prepared for this, but since you did such a great job, I think I'll just jump right in.
All right. If I missed something, please fill in the blanks.
I think we're all good. So as Linda mentioned, this is the workshop, Restoring Our Lives, a workshop of the Road Forward, which of course is a project of Outreach, LGBTQ+ Community Center in Madison. Today we'll be talking about housing and homelessness, job loss and unemployment, and food insecurity. And as Linda mentioned, we did have an assessment back in April, so this presentation was developed in response to that assessment, and we hope you get what you need out of this, but we're always here for additional questions. We'll also have some resources available after this presentation as well. So we'll get right into it with housing and homelessness. The first program we wanted to bring your attention to, and I apologize, I know these slides are super, I just wanted to make sure anyone downloading the slides after the fact would have all the same information as if you were here live. So sometimes I'm going to just be reading right off the slides. I know that bothers some people. I hope it's okay. I just want to make sure this is accessible to everyone. So the Dane Core program is an emergency rental assistance program. It's a partnership between the City of Madison, Dane County, and the Tenant Resource Center. They can assist with first month's rent, security deposit, and other housing support. This is for rental assistance for those who are behind on rent, reside in Dane County, are at or below 60% of the area median income, and we'll talk more about that, and have experienced hardship due to COVID-19. Unfortunately, this is an online pre-application and there is no paper application form. However, you can make an appointment for some in-person assistance. I've got the link here and a phone number there as well in case internet accessibility is not super accessible for you. And I did want to write this little note in here too, for anyone concerned with immigration status or applications. These funds are not weighed against public charge determinations and will not adversely affect immigration status or applications. We do have a couple resources here with links, but I'm going to provide the PDFs of these documents as well. Linda, if I click that, can you see my webpage pop up on the side here?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So here's the eligibility website, the documents website. And I like this documents website, by the way. My computer's not going to pull it up because I'm on my work computer and they block images for some images for some reason. But they're going to have like required income documents and stuff. And what my computer is not pulling up are images, example images of these documents, in case you have no idea what an IRS 1040 is or WS2 1099S. I know what they all are because I'm a financial advisor by trade, but probably, you know, most people have no idea what these things mean, what all these letters and numbers mean. So great resource on the website here with images to kind of give you an example of what you should be looking for. We also have, oops, I want to go back. Contact information here for the core program, both an email address that they're pretty responsive to, as well as a phone number here. We also have coordinated entry homeless services. It's a screening and assessment that's conducted over the phone. And unfortunately, staff won't be, they're usually at the Beacon downtown, but unfortunately, staff are not meeting with people in person at this time. And I was going to write a whole bunch of stuff on this slide, but then I found these videos that actually do a really great job. And we're just going to take 5 minutes here. I think this first video is like 3 minutes and the second one is 2 minutes. So they do a really great job of explaining what exactly coordinated entry is. And I hope.
Great.
Can you hear that, Linda? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
The federal government defines coordinated entry as follows. Coordinated entry is a process developed to ensure that all people experiencing a housing crisis have fair and equal access to housing services and assistance. Through coordinated entry, households in need of assistance are quickly identified, assessed for, referred, and connected to housing and assistance based on their strengths and needs. Simply put, coordinated entry is just what we call the process of moving through the homeless services and homeless prevention system in Dane County. That system, the coordinated entry system, has two main programmatic arms. The first, eviction prevention, is for those who are housed but are behind on their rent and are worried they may be at risk of losing that housing. The second, coordinated entry homeless services, is for anyone in Dane County who has no place to sleep and needs to know about options for emergency shelter. And also for those who have spent the past 7 nights or longer in emergency shelter, in a vehicle or outside, and need to know about housing programs specific to those situations. Now remember, those two main parts of coordinated entry are for those who have housing and are trying to keep that housing, avoid eviction, eviction prevention, coordinated entry. For those with no housing, no place to sleep, and also for those who have spent the past 7 nights or more in emergency shelter, outside, or in a vehicle, coordinated entry, homeless services. Eviction prevention, coordinated entry, homeless services, coordinated entry. To learn about resources specific to your current housing situation, please select the appropriate video link below.
And again, this link to both of these next links that talk about each of those, we won't watch those videos, but it's right here on the slide. I did want to also click on this one. This is just a 2-minute video.
When navigating any sort of housing situation, it's often a good idea to explore all options available to you and to get on all of the housing waitlists that you qualify for and may be interested in down the road. Remember, no one will force you to take housing that you do not want. So why not keep your options open? With that in mind, here are a few other housing resources available to you. Back on the Dane County Homeless Services Consortium website, navigate your cursor towards the top of the screen to the Get Help tab. go ahead and click on the Get Help tab. No matter the specific details of your housing situation, this page, the Get Help page, is a great place to get started, as it has many of our community's other housing resources gathered all in one place. One of these resources is the Housing by Application resource sheets. These sheets include the main details of a number of different housing programs. Read through the descriptions of each program, and if you are interested in applying, simply follow the How to Apply directions provided for each program. There are 3 versions of these Housing by Application resource sheets, one for adults with minor children in the household, one for adult women, and one for adult men. On the final page of these resource sheets, you will find information about low-income housing, the next housing resource we'd like to highlight. Low-income housing options, information, and application tips can all be found by navigating to the Low-Income Housing and Housing Vacancy Lists page of the HSC website. Finally, we will highlight our community's housing resource vacancy lists. Published weekly by Housing Navigation Services, these vacancy lists are organized by unit size, rent, and location in Dane County. For answers to questions about these lists, as well as for help filling out housing applications, assistance writing letters to landlords, and other housing-related inquiries, please visit or contact Housing Navigation Services.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a
Yeah.
lot of good information.
Definitely. So I encourage you to go to that website if you have access, or you can call that phone number or complete the coordinated entry form at the website at the bottom there. One thing I did want to point out was the VISPDAT. I don't know if they have like a, do they call it the VISPDAT? I'm not sure, but it stands for the Vulnerability Index Service Prioritization Decision Assistance Tool. Everyone will have to fill this out. It's an assessment used to measure your vulnerability in housing needs. It's intended for individuals or families sleeping primarily in emergency shelter, outside, or in a vehicle. The video mentioned the 7 consecutive nights in emergency shelter in a vehicle. At that point, you'll be eligible to complete the tool, the index. And the purpose of completing this is we placed on Dane County's housing priority list. And depending on your needs, you'll be put in one of 2 categories, either rapid rehousing or permanent supportive housing. I've got the website there too for coordinated reentry. So
Nice.
Busy slide, but this is rapid rehousing programs for families and for single adults. So it shows the agency, the programs that are available for families and single adults. Most of these are scattered sites, buildings vary. But we've got the amenities, some notes, and what's the entry process for rapid rehousing. And then we have permanent supportive housing for families, same kind of information, the agency, programs, location, building type, amenities, notes and entry process. And for single adults here as well.
Great. This is great stuff.
Thank you. Another resource we wanted to point out was 211.
Mhm.
This is United Way, Dane County 211. When you need help and don't know where to turn, you can just dial 211 on your phone, and it's your one-stop connection to local services like utility assistance, housing, food, elder care, crisis intervention, alcohol and other drug recovery, and more. I mentioned the first way, the most common way, just dial 211 from your cell phone or landline. There's also an 877 number there. 211 is obviously a lot easier. You can search the database here as well for some of the options. So I'll pull that up real quick. So let me. Yep, so you can kind of, if you don't want to call, you prefer to just do a little bit of research on your own, you can click this link and, let's say we were interested in, I don't know, let's call it transportation. what kind of assistance is there for different transportation systems, so on and so forth. Tax assistance. Here's how you can get some tax assistance, food, so on and so forth.
It looks very easy to navigate.
Super easy.
Good.
Yep, and they're all, they're all links. So you just go to the next link and you'll get all of the information here, where to find stuff. You can email or text me a link, so on and so forth. It's really, really nice. You can also chat online, or you can text. So lots of different options here. All you have to do is text your zip code to this phone number. You'll get a text back and you can have a conversation that way. There's the website for 211 as well. Catholic Charities Housing Navigation Services, also located at the Beacon, also in person suspended at this time, but more services that you may take advantage of. I've listed them all here: identifying and overcoming barriers to housing, such as past rent or utilities due, poor credit score, criminal record, etc. Assisting with housing application process, including appealing denials, guiding individuals or families with subsidized housing applications and opportunities, so on and so forth.
Great.
I also would be remiss if I didn't talk about Wilma's Fund here. Wilma's Fund is a program of outreach that also provides relief for LGBTQ plus homelessness or support to prevent homelessness. They can also help with security deposit, rent, or hotel stays. They're available on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 6, or by calling that phone number. The process takes about 30 to 45 minutes. They only provide one financial gift per client per year, and they only assist with short-term immediate needs. And I know Linda and Mark, our program director, you guys kind of head that and help a lot of people out there. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was what we had for housing and homelessness. The next topic in this workshop is job loss and unemployment. The Dane County Job Center is wonderful. They have so many resources. Unfortunately, right now it's difficult to, I shouldn't say it's difficult, it's just, you can't just walk in and ask for resources. You can't make an in-person appointment right now. But what they do offer, I've got some examples here of what they do offer in this space. Like I said, they're really, really great resource. They are only open right now for homeless mail-in emergency services, but I did get in contact with someone earlier this week, and they did mention that likely they'll be opening up again to the public soon. Right. Fortunately, for those who have been laid off, are underemployed or unemployed, they do have a program to help provide one-on-one service on interviewing, resume development, and job searching or looking for openings. Like I said, I say here, don't call right now. The only option, if you call the phone number, the only option you're given is to dial an extension, or to, you can go to the directory, but you have to know the name of the person you're trying to reach. So if you're not if you don't have a contact already there, it's useless. So instead, what I recommend doing is going to this website. Unfortunately, it's all web-based right now. Going to that website and filling out the contact form. I did that and I got a response same day.
Great.
So at that point, now I have the name of someone. So if I want to call, I can use the directory and find that person that sent me the email. So a little trick of the trade there for you. We also have plenty of other PDF resources to follow, which you'll be able to find on the website as well.
And I just want to say that I've used their services in the past. And I think what I found most helpful was some of the assistance I received in building my resume. And the last time I was between jobs, when you arrive there for the first time and you register for your job search, they will help you by sending you to a workstation which has a program designed to build your resume. So for people who haven't built a resume in the past, there are people there who can help walk you through the stages. And I know that in this particular job market right now, with people returning to work and with a need for people, particularly in the service sectors, I think that it may be challenging depending on what your qualifications are, but there are people there who can help you. And I'm guessing that they're going to be inundated with people once they open the doors again.
Oh,
So
for
I would
sure.
take the advice that Crystal's sharing with you and do what you can in advance to get into their system.
Yeah. And I have been hearing that, by the way, Linda, that, you know, at this point, people are hiring,
Right.
especially in the services.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing that it's been tough for them to hire. So this community, you know, people who are listening to this presentation, you have a unique opportunity at this point right now. People are hiring, they want to hire you. They want you to submit an application and a resume. So this is a really good opportunity right now to get back into the workforce.
And I just want to plug, for health reasons, if you haven't been vaccinated yet, please get vaccinated, because it'll improve your chances to get a job and to stay safe and healthy.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm kind of the resident friend and family member that helps everyone with their resumes and applications. So I'm not an expert by trade by any means, but kind of by default, because I've done so many of these for people. So I just wanted to throw in some resume tips in here. I usually tell people have one kind of catch-all resume, right? That's not specific to any one particular job opening, but that just has your skills, your job history, your education history, your references, you know, just one that you can go on to Indeed, upload it into Indeed, and you can just click a button to apply for jobs, and it'll submit your catch-all resume, is what I call it. What I would recommend, though, if you find a job that you feel you're particularly suited for, tailor your resume using keywords found in the job description. I have gone so far as to literally copy and paste from a job description into a resume. And some people have said, isn't that going to look fishy? Isn't that going to look like I, you know, am making this stuff up? And my answer is maybe, but probably not, because I can tell you the chances of that the person who wrote that job description is not the same person that's reviewing your resume. So most likely they're not going to know anyway. But if they do, it's also not a negative thing. It's just showing that how qualified you are for this job.
Right.
Use numbers whenever possible. This is hard. I work in finance. I find it hard to throw numbers on my resume, but any kind of number that you can put on there, use it. If you've ever, you know, worked with clients or something, you know, or customers, how many customers have you served in a day? If you ever do, you know, data entry, how much work can you handle in a day? If there's any way to quantify any of your previous work, find an opportunity to do that. This is one of the best resume tips that I can give you. Keep the best stuff over the fold. Right. So if you're a recent grad, you know, and let's say you're a recent grad in like engineering or something, and all you've ever done is waitress, you know, or work in restaurants. Like how do the two, you know, how are they related in any way? Well, instead of putting your experience first, your restaurant experience first, put your education first.
Right.
Make that the main, you know, when you're looking at a piece of paper, where does your eye go? It goes like kind of right here, right? Now you can't really see that, but anyway, it's kind of right here. So when you're right, put your best stuff right there. When you're listing your jobs, by the way, do your most recent one first, and then go backward from there. That's reverse chronological order. Keep it to one page and keep it simple. We don't need 8-point font. You know, if you can keep it to 10-point font, one page. I've played with margins. You know, it's tough with the standard margins, so I've made them like thin margins, but whatever you can do. Don't do anything fancy with colors. You know, I would advise against putting a photo on there.
Right.
As well. Just, you know, keep it simple, keep it straightforward. And by the way, we will have some templates available as well. Stuff that I've personally put together for people, and also stuff that I found online that I thought was helpful as well.
Great.
Interviewing. So you got the call, right? You submitted the application, you got the call. What the heck do I do in this interview? How do I actually cross the finish line here? Practice makes perfect. It's going to sound super silly, but out loud, practice with someone. Have someone ask you questions, and mock interview. It's the best way to do it. And then I list a couple other, like, you know, little secrets, tricks of the trade. Be prepared with questions for the interviewer. I listed a few question, you know, examples that you can list here. What I advise against is asking questions about paid vacation or sick time. Do you get flexible hours? It's okay to want to know that information, by the way. Just wait until they extend you the offer. And before you accept it, I wouldn't ask those questions in the interview. Bring a pad and a pen, a pad of paper and a pen. Write down your questions, because you can have all the best intentions to come with all the greatest questions, but oh yeah, right, you're gonna get so nervous sitting there that they're gonna escape you, and you're not gonna remember any of your questions afterward, you know, once you're sitting there. So write down your questions. Write down the interviewers' names. If you have multiple people on the panel interviewing you, write down their names. And also take notes. It's even if the information is, you know, not useful, or you have a lockbox memory, you're going to remember everything that was said in the interview. Even if it seems insignificant, it's impressive to interviewees when they see people taking notes in the interview. You can research the company ahead of time. So that's something you might be able to develop some questions based on some of the research. One time I went into an interview and I had, you know, written down the company's core values. And I like brought that up during the interview, and they were so impressed that I like knew their values. I think no one else on the interview panel even knew the values. So it was kind of funny. Be early, not on time. Be early, 10, 15 minutes. If you get stuck in traffic, you miss your bus, you can't find the building, or, you know, whatever it is, you want to make sure you leave yourself time. You do not want to be late. That is the worst first impression for a job interview. And finally, something that is another little trick is follow up after the interview. When you're writing down the interviewers' names, see if you can't get some contact information if you don't already have it. A handwritten thank you note. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed learning about the position. Have a great weekend in, you know, Door County or whatever. If anything personal came up, on the side of the interviewers that you can reference in your after, your thank you note after the fact, really shows that you were paying attention and that that you care. And I kind of hate this, but it is nonetheless still a good tip. Smile. Gay, straight, male, female, non-binary. This is a universal tip that I'm giving you. Be friendly. People like to work with people that they like. Smile. It shows that, you're happy to be there and you're excited about the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Those are all great tips, and they work.
Where to look for employment. I've listed just a few here, but a couple things I'd point out, people reach out to your network. Someone referring you to a job is a really good resource. I also mentioned a few things on here: apprenticeship programs, union halls. Union jobs are good paying jobs that you do not have to go to college for.
Right.
I mean, you do have training and you do have schooling, but they'll pay for your schooling and they will pay you to go to school. Getting into the trades is a really good option. Go to your church, look for help wanted signs. I have another resource that I'll send to Linda for upload onto the website after this that just has a host of other avenues to look for employment.
Great.
All right. The final topic, food insecurity. Access Wisconsin is where you can go to apply for food share. This is probably the most common food insecurity resource. You can apply online, like I said, at Access Wisconsin. There's the website. You can call. I have a phone number here. And they're also, for this one, we do have a mail-in application. So if you don't have access to online, don't have access to a phone, you can certainly have access via a paper application. You complete your interview by phone, and when you receive your food share, it comes in the form of a card, and you can buy food items with it. You cannot buy non-food items with it, like, unfortunately, wine or alcohol, tobacco. You can't buy hot food in the store that's already made, but you can buy, food that you can take and eat outside of the store. Vitamins and medicines also not, you can't buy that with food share. Monthly income limits. I've got a table here. There is based on household size, and this is your net income. So like after, what you receive on your paycheck, the dollar amount that you receive to your bank account or on your physical paycheck, that's what net income means. After taxes, after Social Security, after health insurance, so on and so forth. This is your net income limit. And this is the maximum amount you can receive then based on your household size. This table is much larger. I consolidated it for this presentation, but that's why I have that here. So here's that table. This is that 100% of net income limit. This is the 200 federal, FPL stands for federal poverty line. This is your gross income limit. And there's also a couple other, sections on here. And then it corresponds. So for example, this one corresponds with the one with 4 little asterisks. So this one corresponds to this one. In a very small percentage of cases, 165% of the federal poverty line is used. You may do this only if, and then they've got certain caveats there as well. But again, this that I'm showing you here is pretty much the basics. But if you need to fall into one of these other categories, I've got the link there for you to click on.
Great.
Let's look through that. River Food Pantry is amazing. They are currently hosting curbside pickup Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 3. Oh, I don't have the address on here. I'll follow up with you.
And we can add that too, because we,
Okay.
outreach brings food donations there.
Good. Okay, wonderful. But just some additional information on this slide. Right now they're doing it in their parking lot, outdoors, behind the building. You remain in your vehicle. New clients, make sure you bring your ID and proof of address. And something you can ask for, I don't think they necessarily offer it, but if you go there and you ask for it, you can ask for their new FAM program. It's Family at Home Meals, Tuesdays through Fridays, they offer this.
Nice.
These are healthy, ready to eat meals for families to share in the safety of your home. They're proportionate to meet the needs of different family sizes with vegetarian alternatives, and the menu changes every week. So you can get a variety of different different items. And right now they're offering it for up to 4 times per week instead of, usually it was just 1, but right now they're offering it for 4 times a week. Absolutely, something I would absolutely encourage folks to take advantage of at this point. River Food Pantry is awesome.
Yeah.
We also wanted to list some non-food or non-faith-based food pantries. So here's a list of all the food pantries that are non-faith based. If you want to check out any of those in your area. I also wanted to just take a second here to highlight Access Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Because all you do is go to this website, you answer some questions, and the system will recommend programs for you.
Nice.
And here are the different programs that they may offer you. Childcare, food, and here's food share in there. Healthcare, including Badger Care, family planning only, Medicaid, prescription drug coverage, long-term care, housing and utilities. Oh, I thought that was one on there. Oh yeah, and here's another one. So this is kind of like all encompassing of what we've been talking about today. That's kind of why I wanted to end here. With this resource, job skills and cash assistance, tax credits and insurance, just great resources.
Nice.
All you do is go to this website, answer some questions about your household, your income, your expenses, and it'll spit out everything that you may qualify for. So a really good comprehensive way to find resources available to you. The last thing I wanted to talk about, unfortunately, is a lot of what we've talked about today is computer-based. And I know that some of the people listening to this may not have good access to computers or the internet. The Madison Public Library is opening on Monday, except for the Monroe Street Library. But they are offering in-person services to help you with all of these things. They can get you to the Access website, so you can fill out that questionnaire and figure out what resources are available to you. They have some amazing, amazing people there wanting to help you. Unfortunately, outreach is closed right now to the public. Once reopened, hours do remain the same. It will be Monday through Friday from 12 to 7, and likely we won't be reopening until the fall of this year. So unfortunately, that's not a resource at this point, but please do not hesitate to call. We are more than happy to get on a Zoom call with you. I know so many people probably have Zoom fatigue right now, but we're more than happy to get online with you and do a virtual walkthrough of any of these resources we talked about, or call. If you're in need of Wellness Fund, of course, that's there as well. But if you do require some in-person assistance, I would strongly encourage you to check out your local library.
Wow. I don't know how you did it, Crystal, but you took, and I'm speaking even for myself here, because there have been different times that I've been in need of many of these services. And you've taken what is an overwhelming experience when you're in the middle of unemployment,
Yeah.
searching for housing, food insecurity, and you don't know where to start. And this is a wonderful kind of a clearinghouse of all the different places that you can go to get assistance. And I'm sure we are going to be continuing to talk about these with our community, our LGBTQ plus community members. We're hoping to be able in the future, when we do reopen, to have some in-person support groups that will hopefully align with the workshops that we presented with the Road Forward. So stay tuned for more information about that. In the meantime, next week, we will be posting all of these tools and resources on the Road Forward website. And I'm going to put that in the chat. And I will also include that. I don't know if it'll show up in the recording, but I'm going to put that in the chat right now. That the website, nope, that didn't work. Well, let me just put it in there. I'm terrible at typing when somebody's watching. So it's a pretty simple website. It's the Road Forward. I keep getting
Just theroadforward.org.
Yep.
All right.
Unfortunate.
So what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
make it super big here, in case it's not going to show on the recording.
And I will, it'll be posted to, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. So I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. But I want to thank you, Crystal, for all the time you put into the research. What I've found so far working with our community partners is that we're all committed to serving our marginalized community and underserved community. And there is a wealth of information and services out there, but they're in varying places within different agencies. And so far in the workshops that we've done, it's been a real gift that our facilitators, our community partners have taken the time and done the research to collect the information that'll help us move forward. So
there's so much like it's overwhelming. I can only imagine, you know, being in this position, you're already so emotional about, you know, everything that's going on. The last thing that you need to do,
right,
or last thing that you want to do, is spend hours trying to figure out what to do next.
And you know, when we first started designing this program, I chose 3 topics which I felt were the things that most of us were dealing with on some level. And what I'm finding is, even if we've been employed, even if we have mental health, even if we have good health care, we still struggled during the pandemic. And so all of these services and tools and resources that we're sharing are really going to benefit all of us. And we're really grateful that we have put these workshops together. So thank you, Crystal. I'm going to